HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkins Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to get you up to date with what's happening in Hopkins. On today's edition of HCAM News, Jumpin' Juba jams out at the town common. We talk with Hiller's baseball coach, Steve Simos, plus much more. But first, Hopkinton Water and Sewer Director and weather enthusiast Eric Carty joined us to talk about the current water restrictions and weather trends. Hello, everybody. We are joined by Hopkinton Water Sewer Manager Eric Carty to talk some weather. Eric, how's everything going over at the DPW?
Going good, Tom. It's a busy time of season with all the issues with weather we have going on and with all the construction projects on. But makes the day go by fast here, so we'll take it.
Absolutely. You guys staying busy, repaving a lot of roads, I've noticed, and doing a number of construction projects in town.
Yeah, the highway, I think, had 3 roads that they've done in the past couple of weeks. West Main is still being finished up as we speak, because we've been out there adjusting some of our shutoff valves and sewer manhole covers, making sure they have all that ready to go. But yeah, between all the highways paving and the downtown projects and a couple of new subdivisions that are going in, we're pretty much all over town working these past couple of weeks.
And I'm curious, we've had drought conditions pretty much all summer and a very hot summer as well. How's that affect your job at all? Obviously, I'm sure you have to monitor those water levels.
Yeah, it seems nowadays it's just one extreme or the other. It's never just normal. I mean, last year at this time, we were dealing with flooding. The sewer systems were flooding. We were getting too much rain. We had the wettest or second wettest 3-month summer period ever recorded. And now we're at the polar opposite this year with the one of the driest ever recorded. So it directly affects us specifically for the water side. When we have too much rain like last year, it's a bigger problem for the sewer, as that can sometimes get a lot of infiltration. And when we're dry, it affects the sewer, the water side with the drought. So thankfully, we've had good compliance with our mandatory water ban. We've been labeled a critical level 3 drought by the state, our area, and we've put out all the messaging for that. And the vast majority of people have shut off the sprinklers. We've been able to notice that by our demands. By lowering the demands, that lets us decrease the pumping. And so we're not getting any recharge right now, obviously, without the rain. And without that recharge, if we kept pumping at those higher rates, we would have to keep cutting pumps back further and further. So right now we're kind of maintaining with the due to the drop in consumption. So hopefully we'll get some of the rains that you and I just talking a little earlier off air. The storm last Friday, they had us at 5 inches. The next day they had us at none. Then Sunday they had us back to 3 inches, and then yesterday none, and now we're back to maybe a couple of inches. So we'll wait and see, but hopefully we can get that, because that'll definitely help. I'm over in Lake Naspernock, and the lake is down 11 inches. And I've never seen it this low this early in August. As rocks already showing up, like we're already started a drawdown, which we haven't.
Yeah, my lawn's completely dead. So come on, Mother Nature. Fingers are crossed. Let's go. We need some rain.
We'll get some green paint like they do out in California. They paint the lawns green out there. So, so yeah, just to touch one more. I mean, this year for records, we've had all kinds of records. We had, I think, 4 straight days above 95 degrees, which was a record. We've had the longest streak ever for consecutive days above 85, which I think was 24 days. And then we've had just the driest or the overall warmest 30-day stretch ever recorded since they've been keeping records since the 1800s. So we're breaking all kinds of records. So I guess if it's going to be this hot, you might as well break the records while you're doing it.
Right. Absolutely. It was a good beach and pool summer, I would say. So long-term weather-wise, do you think we get a pattern change? Maybe we get some rain moving in?
So it looks like some of the shorter range, long range models that'll go out a couple weeks have us right back into another warm pattern again. It does look like it might change to wetter overall, even though it's going to be warmer. So we'll, if we're going to get that warmth, hopefully we'll at least get the rain with it, which was the case last year, because we're definitely going to need it. Right now it's going to, people think if we get a couple inches, are we all setting out of the water band? No, it's going to take substantial rains for a substantial period of time to catch up because we are so low. I think we're at a 10-inch deficit right now since March. We haven't had 1 month that's been close to normal for rainfall. So it's just been steadily declining, and last month was the lowest to date that we've had. So we definitely need to see a change on the wetter side.
It's too bad you couldn't take some of that rain from last year and save it for this year.
It would be great. They're actually, you joke that some places in California and Arizona where they're experiencing the drought, that they are actually trying to harness that, like a giant rain barrel, basically, because it seems that we're just going from, extremes from one to the other. So, it'd be nice to get just a normal summer. June was beautiful. I mean, we had the best June that I can ever remember. It was, 70s, low 80s, just enough rainfall to make it through. But since then, it's been all downhill in terms of the heat and dryness.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. July was one hot month. So do you think we're looking at some big heat in the early September days as well?
It doesn't look like it's going to be to the levels that we were at. It definitely looks above normal and muggier, but not quite to the extremes, hopefully, that we had before. That's models are usually good for the most part out about 2 to 3 weeks. When you get beyond that, it can be hit or miss. And, just like we saw with this storm here, it seems like the better the technology gets, the more information that gets in there, the more difficult it becomes for them to forecast. So you don't really know what to expect, but, it looks that could be the trend to be on the warm side, but not quite to the extremes we saw this past August and late in July.
So to all those young athletes out there, stay hydrated in those early September days. It's going to be pretty hot.
Yeah, tough to be a football player. Good time to be a hockey player.
Right. Speaking of hockey, what are we looking at for the winter? I've been hearing the Farmer's Almanac was saying it's going to be a very rough winter. Obviously, that's pretty far away, but any takes on what to expect possibly this winter?
No, I really wouldn't jump out on that yet, Tom. I've learned the lessons over the years from all the people that I follow. Generally, a lot of people try to do predictions. I've seen some of the same things you've talked about with models predicting, some real cold spells, some snowy spells, but it's really not till mid-November, which is, basically getting into the winter months, that they really have a good handle on how everything's going to set up. It's just been so volatile. I mean, even over in Europe, France, and they've had record heat over there. So it's just, it's worldwide where these things are happening. And when it's hot in one area of the world, it's cold in the other. So it all interplays. So I think it's going to be till November before we get a good handle on there.
Well, I have a feeling it'll probably be an active hurricane season with those warm seas.
That's one thing that we definitely got to be worried about, though. Yeah, the waters are definitely warm, and that just fuels them coming off. So we've got to hope from the fronts pushing off the west coast towards us to help push them out if we do get them.
Well, you can catch Eric Carty's weather trends on our website on a weekly basis, hcam.tv. Eric, thank you so much for talking to us about what to expect weather-wise.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Tom.
Jumpin' Juba performed at the 2022 Hopkinton Parks and Recreation Commission Concerts on the Common Series. Here's a look.
Just a funky little room off the main avenue. Guitar amps out in the hall, and the drapes up on the wall. smell, and the piano is pizza hell. They got a little band that's coming round, got a real low down sound. The place was packed, the front doors they were locked, they just had in place. But when the police knocked, those doors flew back. But they kept on rocking, going round and round, reeling and rocking. What a crazy sound! And never stop rocking.
We're going to take a quick time out, a whole lot more ahead. Stay tuned to this edition of HCAM News. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. Hillers baseball coach Steve Simos announced that after 19 seasons, he is stepping away from the program. Here's a look at our conversation with the Hall of Fame coach. Coach, congratulations on a very successful spring season coaching the baseball team. Throughout the season, you faced some COVID issues, a few injuries as well. but you made it all the way to the quarterfinals where you lost to a very good Mansfield team in a very competitive game. Can you talk about the team this past spring and what it was like to coach this group?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, they I don't want to say they overachieved, but they had a lot on their plate. You know, the previous two teams had made it to the state championship game, which is a really hard thing to do with so many quality teams, but it started to become the expectation. I tried to temper that a little for these kids, but you know, they had a lot of belief. And I had a lot of belief as well because, you know, we had a lot of good returning starters, great senior leadership. And then obviously we lost the night before our first game. We lost Vinny Purpura, who I think was going to be one of the best pitchers in the state this year. And that's a big loss for the kids. It kind of deflated everybody, mostly because they cared so much about Vinny. But, you know, that was a big loss to overcome. But guys stepped up and they really, you know, like you said, quarterfinals, a 1-run game where we made some mistakes in the last inning. And we were, again, you know, basically a game and an out away from being back in the finals. So.
Absolutely. It was certainly a fun team to follow, as it has been for the last few years with the Hillers baseball program. There's been some great teams in the last few years. And Coach, this was also a very memorable season because you announced that, at least for now, it would be your last season at the helm for Hopkinton Hillers baseball. You will certainly be missed. We'll certainly miss having you as the head coach for Hillers baseball every spring. But I have to ask, what are your future plans? Any other coaching opportunities you're perhaps going to look at, or what are your future plans?
Yeah, I'll certainly coach. I'll even coach this spring. I just really couldn't be a head coach right now. There's a lot of responsibilities that people don't see, and you really have to, you know, be at the beck and call of your kids, of your student athletes as the head coach. And I have an elderly mom and some, you know, other family duties that I have to take care of. Plus, I still have a son playing college baseball. So with all those things combined, good time to step away, to give myself some flexibility, you know, whether I have a couple of offers to help out at some colleges as an assistant coach, or, you know, my preference would be to be involved still with Hopkinton, but with the flexibility of getting up to Maine to see my son play or getting down to take care of my mom. So in the short term, not much is going to change in terms of baseball, other than the fact that when a bus is late, they'll call somebody else. And, you know, just the day-to-day checking in with each kid in terms of how they're doing and the recruiting and all that stuff. I'm just not in a position to be able to do that right now, but I did not leave because of any reason having to do with this team. They were fantastic. Parents were fantastic. We've been really successful. It was actually hard to leave, but necessary.
Absolutely. You got to do what you got to do. Well, you have had a tremendous career. In fact, a Hall of Fame career. Congratulations on getting into the Coaches Hall of Fame. Certainly well deserved.
Thank you. That's a product of age mostly.
But there's been many great moments while you've been coaching this Hillers baseball team. So I have to ask, do you have any particular favorite moments of your career coaching at Hopkinton High School?
Yeah, I do. It's hard to pick just a few, but obviously winning the state championship in 2004, getting the fire department police escort back into town. We won the state championship at Bentley University. That was really special, and how far we had come. But my most special memories are the early teams that where every victory seemed like a state championship. The senior, the lone senior that was in the program when I started, was 1-39 in his prior 2 years. So, this town was, and that was no indictment of anybody involved, coaches or players. It was just such a small town. We were the smallest in Eastern Mass, and to build the program really from scratch. So those memories are most vivid for me. Actually, my most vivid memory is a loss. We were playing the top seeded team, Westport, Connecticut. They were 20-0, 2 undefeated pitchers, obviously, but one of them ended up pitching it's Alan Leveralt. He ended up pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, wow.
And we were the 16 seed and they were the 1 seed, and we went down and we led 1-0 in the 5th inning, and had a tremendous pitching performance, and we scratched a run off of this future major leaguer. And then all the skies opened up and we had to drive home from Westport. So we led 1-0 for 24 hours and then drive back down there. And they proceeded in the bottom of the 6th to put up 7 runs, and that ended. If the rain didn't come, I think that would have been probably the greatest program victory ever. And then the following year, we won our first tournament game, and it all kind of started to roll from there.
Wait, you played 6 innings before the rain came? Isn't that an official game?
On the tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty special. And Jay Golden, who's still on my staff, he was part of that team. And a lot of guys that are, I'm still friends or friendly with, that are family men now and fathers. They're the heartbeat of the program. Those are the guys that really started it.
Absolutely. And speaking of Jay Golden, he coached the Hillers for a while when he left a few years ago, did a great job. Do you have any idea who's going to be potentially taking over the Hillers baseball program?
I don't. I did get a look at, the applications and who applied, because they wanted to know if I knew of any of the people from a baseball perspective, which I was amazed that I didn't. The applicants, I didn't know any of them from my baseball circles. I'm selfishly hoping it stays within the quote unquote family. It's been a long run of continuity so since I came and long before me. So I would say probably over 50, 60 years, it's only been people associated with Hopkins High School. And since I came 30 years ago, it's only been me or Mark Stickney, who's a Hopkinton legend, or Jay Golden, and then back to me. And it's been a continuity that's really been important, because the kids know the standards. All of us had, kind of held the same standards of conduct and philosophies of the game and what high school sports are all about. So I'm really hoping it's someone within the Hopkins family, so that if it's not him, Mark Sanborn stays in the program, Jay Golden stay in the program. My assistant, John Zach, obviously Kylie Murray is now the athletic director, so she won't be coaching, but it would be really nice to keep it going. We have beyond the wins and the losses, the last 6 years, we won the sportsmanship award all 6 years, and probably have won that a dozen times, elected by the other coaches. And that's kind of always been what we've preached the most. I think our kids really conduct themselves well, and that would be tough to give up. So I would hope it would stay in the family.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of great coaches in the Hopkinton family to choose from. Have you heard from any of your assistant coaches, like Coach Zach? Obviously, Coach Golden's more than likely going to continue coaching, but is Coach Zach and your other assistants going to continue in the coaching field?
Well, we're hopeful, and I think a lot of that depends on who gets the job. Coach Zach was someone I kind of pulled off the scrap heap. He's just a friend. We do our old man walks and coffee runs, and he's just a tremendous person. So those are the type of people I always wanted around the kids, and now the baseball's really grown on him. I think he'd love to stay. If I have my hand.
It's time to take a look at some happenings you should know about on Saturday, September 17th. Join the Hopkinton Health Department for their second annual community health fair. It'll take place at the Hopkinton Town Common from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. There'll be all kinds of family fun, games and snacks, plus much more at the Hopkinton Health Department's second annual community health fair. Just a reminder, we're still in critical drought status and no lawn watering is currently permitted. Let's hope we get some rain soon. For more information about the current water restrictions, you can head over to hcam.tv or the town website, hopkintonma.gov. Our picture of the week, well, it's kind of a picture of a great video that was posted by Tommy Castle from the Metro West Daily News. It is of Hopkinton's own Kate Powers, who was named the 2022 Daily News Female Athlete of the Year. Certainly well deserved. Congratulations to Kate Powers, and thank you, Tommy Castle, for the nice video. Upcoming town government meetings include on Monday, August 23rd at 7 p.m., the Conservation Commission, and on Thursday, August 18th, tonight, don't forget, special town meeting right after HCAM News at 7 p.m. It is set to begin live on HCAM TV, but if you're a Hopkinton resident, please get down to town meeting. We will hopefully have enough people to need a quorum, but the more, the better. For all the information on upcoming town government meetings, you can head over to hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News. Don't worry, next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. we'll be back. As always, thanks for tuning in. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon.